สวัสดีครับ Good morning and welcome to the Insider. I am Major General Virachon Sukhonthapatipak. Sustainability, growth that can be enjoyed by all, prosperity that leaves no one behind, not just for one time, but for all time. These are the goals set by the Thai government. Building a strong foundation for the Thai economy means focusing not only just wealth, but the well-being for all citizens. To succeed in doing this, sharing prosperity is about adapting to change and a real commitment to future generations. Today we are with a global leader who set an example in sustainability. This leader is based in Thailand but is known worldwide as Indorama Ventures.
Indorama Ventures Public Company Limited started its business in Thailand in 1994 and was the first worsted wool yarn producer in Thailand. It is now globally recognized as a major producer of premium worsted wool yarns. Later in 1995, its business expanded into the petrochemical industry, producing polyethylene terephthalate. A year later, it partnered up with Seum Suk Company and together produced preforms, bottles, and closures. Then Indorama Ventures took over Bangkok Polyester Company in Thailand, prior to becoming the country's #1 producer of polyester. Indorama Ventures was listed in Thailand's stock market in 2005. It also expanded its presence to Europe as well as the United States. In 2011, Indorama Ventures took over a Chinese polyester company, which was the biggest and fast-growing company in China. At present, Indorama Ventures is headquartered in Bangkok and employs more than 14,000 workers. It has production bases in 19 countries in 4 major regions of the world: Asia Pacific, Europe, North America, and Africa. The company's portfolio is comprised of necessities in high-value added or HVA categories of polymers, fibers, packaging, and intermediate petrochemicals. Indorama Ventures is one of the world's largest polyester producers and wool yarn manufacturers. Mr. Aloke Lohia's Indorama Ventures has had a tremendous success and has been continually growing in this country. Today, he will share his secrets of success with us.
This morning, I have a great honor to introduce to you a founder and the CEO of Indorama Venture. This company is one of the world leading manufacturers and producers in the intermediate petrochemical as well as the wool and yarn. Let me introduce to you a very successful business who just received the ASEAN Business Leader Award this year, Mr. Aloke Lohia. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Kap.
What is the driving force to bring you to Thailand, to do your business in Thailand? And how do you enjoy living in Thailand the most?
Oh, let me first say that it's my pleasure to be here today.
Thank you.
This morning. And, actually I'm very fortunate that I'm living in Thailand for the last 25 years. We started our business in 1990 and Indorama Ventures, what is today, the wool business of that started in 1994. We came into Thailand in 1990, as I said, and the initial years and first 4 or 5 years were actually very difficult years for Indorama. In those years, Thailand was booming.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was called one of the Asian tigers.
Yes.
And amongst the Asian tigers, Thailand was the biggest tiger, a very, very powerful tiger. And as Indorama, nobody knew us in Thailand. We came in and we started our first factory in Saraburi from Sankapot to use the corn cobs as the raw material to make a chemical. And, there's a Murphy's Law that anything can go wrong. And in my case, that proved very, very right. Everything I touched was becoming a problem. So the first 4 or 5 years was very, very difficult. But my parents, my family, my colleagues They stuck with me. And together we worked and worked. We said we will make this a success. And finally, in 1993, 1994, I think we turned the tide. And since then, we have grown year on year. From what was in 1990 a $5 million sales, $5 million was only what, 120 million baht in those days. Today our turnover is more than 200 billion baht. So I must say I'm very thankful to Thailand.
Well,
for giving the opportunity.
but from listening to people talking about you, they said you are the self-made, successful business person. To be more precise, you are the self-made billionaire.
That is not entirely true. I think a lot of that credit goes to my father. My father set the business values, the family values into me. He gave me the seed capital to invest in Thailand. He actually guided me to go to Thailand. I was in Indonesia, so he sent me from Indonesia to Thailand. He said, "Alo, go to Thailand. Thailand is a booming country. It's one of the big Asian tigers. Go and invest over there." So he gave me the seed capital, he gave me the encouragement, he gave me the business values, he gave me the family values. So a lot of credit goes to him. And then, as I said, a lot of credit goes to my family, who stuck with me, because as I said, the initial 5 years were quite difficult for me and for the business.
Well, I talked to few successful business person. One characteristic that they share one thing in common, that is the vision, and this is quite clear that your family, your father in particular, has a vision on how to success in doing business. That's why your father instruct you or advise you to come to Thailand. And tell me a little bit more about your business. How many manufacturing sites that you have so far at the moment?
We have grown quite rapidly. So within Thailand, we have about 6 sites and about 10 factories. But internationally, we are now in 19 countries. And we have more than 50 sites globally. But again, all this growth only came in the last, I would say, 10 years. First 15 years, since 1990, all our growth came into Thailand. And as you said earlier, it is the vision of my father or the values that he set in me. And these values helped me basically that I was able to create a credibility in Thailand. We are quite proud that we are a Thai company, but a global company.
So what do you see, by staying in Thailand for more than 20 years, how do you see, I'm talking about the competitiveness in Thailand. How do you see, how Thailand can compete with the other country in terms of a location for doing business?
I think Thailand is very competitive. We have been continuing to invest in Thailand over the last 25 years, and we have not stopped growing in Thailand. We actually this year expanded. We bought another Thai company called Bangkok Polyester, what was used to call Bangkok Polyester. So we have invested in Thailand continuously every year. We are in the intermediate petrochemical business, and also we have some textile related businesses. These are two very different businesses. The textile related businesses is a very basic business, and in that Thailand has now moved away from that. It has evolved now into more of a higher value added textile business. What I mean by that is higher value added textile businesses like technical textiles. You make sporting apparel, you make safety apparel, you make hygiene fibers. So we are producing a lot, not only Indorama but many other companies in Thailand have moved into textiles which are much higher value added. And actually you may know this, but Thailand is preferred destination by many of the large multinational companies like Nike and all the global brands, the multinational companies, who like to buy from Thai-based companies because they trust the quality, they trust the reliability of the Thai product. Similarly, on the petrochemical side, I think Thailand has the most competitive landscape. The cluster in Rayong for petrochemicals is amongst the most competitive in my mind. We have a very large-scale petrochemical industry in Thailand. Indorama is one of the smaller operators in Thailand. All the multinationals, global brands from Europe, from America, they all exist in Thailand.
Well, you talk about Thailand competitiveness, but we are moving toward becoming the ASEAN Economic Community end of this year. You still see Thailand remain the same, competitive as you mentioned earlier. How do you see? Because when we are becoming the ASEAN Economic Community, there will be a lot of things happen, a lot of factors happen. So Thailand remain competitive, as you said before.
I think Thailand will remain competitive. The question is that every country, we all try as a company, the same as a company. Every corporate, every country, they want to be more competitive. And Thailand will continue to remain competitive. The people who govern in Thailand will find new policies that help Thais compete internationally. And the same would happen with other countries in the region. So for me, the AEC is still a very difficult question. I don't understand how all this is going to help the region as a whole. What I can see clearly is that, okay, it's going to help the medium enterprise, the small and medium enterprises much more, because there will be a better networking. Businesses will have more data on other countries in the neighborhood. You could go to Malaysia, you could go to Indonesia, you could go to Vietnam, Myanmar, and you could go with your own banks, because the Thai banks are now much more regionalized. So you would have the benefit as a small business, as a medium business, to function in the region. That will be a benefit for them. But for a large corporate, I'm not very clear at the moment. It's a very tough question for me, how it really benefits, because the culture is different for each of our countries. The politics is different. Our resources are different. How all of that is going to combine together is still, I think, the next 10 years we will find out.
I think that's why they are working on the three pillars. That is the political and security, the social and culture, and the economic dimension, because they realize the differences that every country in this region have. And of course, they are talking about a big market like 600 million population. They believe that this will make the region become stronger, and would have the power for negotiation or bargaining, something like that. As for Thailand, we see that we need to work on our part in order to become more attractive, for the foreign investor to come to Thailand. The government placed a particular importance on the issue like the infrastructure development, as well as the a new policy of investment, the incentive, new kind of incentive for foreign investor. So how do you see? Because we look at Thailand, we look at our country as the central or the hubs of the ASEAN. We look at ourselves, we look at the issue of the centrality. So how do you see this would benefit Thailand, particularly the infrastructure development?
So Thailand is the most advanced, in my opinion, in the infrastructure amongst Asian countries, leaving aside Singapore. And I think each country would try to protect its turf.
Yes.
So Thailand the policies in Thailand, what makes Thailand so attractive to investors like me is quite evident that, the Thailand has this super central coordinating body called BOI. And BOI, the policies are quite transparent, quite visible, quite easy to understand. And that attracted companies like ours to come into Thailand and stay in Thailand and grow in Thailand. The port, the financial security in Thailand, the very vibrant stock market. So all of these things in Thailand are big attractions to corporates like ours. And I don't think there are many markets in ASEAN who can compete with Thailand in that respect. So Thailand will remain competitive, Thailand will remain more attractive to many of the other regions.
Oh, thank you for your kind word, of course, and your opinion is highly appreciated. But we're talking about the good thing, the good aspect of the country. Anything, any area that you think need to be improved. For example, the transparency. You have touched. I have learned that in your previous forum, you touched on the corruption. How to solve the corruption? I think you focus on this issue. It is very important for every country, every society. So how do you see this problem in Thailand?
Oh, I can't say for Thailand. Basically, as part of as part of the stock market, as part of IOD, Institute of Directors, I made a talk to IOD on what they call CAC, Coalition Against Corruption. So we are a signatory to that. So as a corporate, what we try to do is that for us, it's quite evident, being a global company in 19 countries, more than 50 assets, we cannot be, it's good for business to be straightforward, to do the business in the right way. So we have to make sure that we can control across our company that there is a right way of doing business. And the right way of doing business is that eliminate all forms of corruption in the company. Do not encourage corruption. Governance. So for us, this is part of governance, it's part of risk, and therefore we do not allow our people to create corruption or to get involved in corruption.
We need to create a value from the bottom of the society to aware of this kind of perception that corruption is the bad thing, and it is a shame for everyone to be to get herself, himself, themselves involved in corruption. And of course, we move away a little bit further on the prosperity. Under these circumstances, where world economy is slowed down, how do you cope up with this kind of situation?
Yeah, this is a very challenging question at the moment. But I think for a Thai company, we have seen many challenges over the last 25 years. We saw the Tom Yam Kung crisis in '97, and then we had the SARS problem in China, and so we have had repeated problems. And most recently, we had the flooding in 2012, which put a lot of pressure on all Thai corporates and the country. So you have to be patient. These are cycles, and eventually these things will pass. But as a stronger company, as a stronger country, and if you keep your policy stable and react appropriately, how does Indorama react in these circumstances? Indorama has diversified its risk. So Indorama is, like I said, for the first 15 years, we were predominantly in Thailand. In the last 10 years, we have expanded into different products. We are making more high value added products. We are in many more countries. And by diversifying our revenue streams and diversifying our markets, we have been able to protect ourselves and make our company much more resilient today. So I think Thailand has a lot of diversity already in itself. We should not be too much worried. Remember, this current crisis is more led by the China slowdown. Thailand, fortunately, is not a very big trading partner with China. So the impact on Thailand will be more limited than other countries in the region. So Thailand is trading in higher value-added products, like I said, in the technical textiles. So Thailand is in a more resilient position than other countries. There will be impact from a slowdown, but I don't think it will be that severe for Thailand.
Well, because you are a very successful business person, of course, we have talked to many people and they admire your policy, particularly the people first. You touch about people first policy in your company. So would you elaborate a little bit on that?
When you think about it, people is everything. When you think of success, it's not because of the machinery. It's about the software. So it's about the people. And when I think of people, I'm not thinking only of our employees, of my colleagues, about our management, but we are also thinking of our clients. We are thinking of all our stakeholders. We are thinking about the environment. We are in an industry. We are making chemicals. And there could be a perception around our chemical factories that are we making pollution, are we making noise? But actually we have to manage the environment. And what we intend to do is we want to do better. We want to create an environment around us which is better than what it was, by creating more employment, by creating more creating a better life for the people. Our products, they're used in everyday consumer staples. So our products are such that are a daily necessity. The people that we employ and the people who are living around our factories, our clients, our stakeholders, they all support us. And that is why we call people first. People first is our number one policy.
Well, the reason that I'm asking you about this because the government policy, the current government policy, we are focusing on people-centered, approach. Particularly if the business sectors can help to reduce the gap between, economic disparity, the gap between rich and poor, that would be very helpful. And of course, it would help the country to reduce a lot of problems. We believe that every problem, the root cause of the problem is the inequality. So by focusing on people first or people-centered approach, that would be one very important factors to help to reduce or to get rid of all of the problem. Thank you very much for sharing your thought, your perception with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was an introduction to Mr. Aloke Lohia, a captain of industry who has become a global leader based on his vision of prosperity. Join me again next week when Mr. Lohia talks about where his success is heading, where Thailand is heading, and how the global economy will be driven.